Time to pull up a chair. We've got another great story for you today in the rLounge. Some people are just destined to keep spinning in their own entitled orbit. Today in the rLounge, it's the classic case of I want, therefore I should have. Up first, let's talk about an entitled sibling and their audacious demands. Entitled brother thinks I should buy a house and pay the bills to take care of an abusive mother. I'm posting this because I need to vent about their behavior or I'm going to go postal. Until 2 years ago, I had a perfect 800 credit score. I never missed a payment. I lost my job for reporting my bosses for overlooking molestation and assault of my female coworkers, some of whom were minors. For 2 years, I've struggled finding work because, as I found out a few months ago, the people I was reporting on were slandering me to potential employers, costing me a job using my MBA, making $20 an hour in an office. My credit score is crap and I'm coasting on fumes. The worst part of this? My family doesn't know and is running around telling everyone I refuse to help them keep a roof over their head. I'm near the point of being unable to buy food, and these jackwagons are telling people I should buy them a place to live. The reason? My grandmother died of what I suspect was COVID. I worked with the public and caught it despite being vaxxed multiple times. So I wasn't going to be around a 60-plus-year-old woman with severe emphysema and risk her getting COVID. She was angry, but then she never really liked me, just needed me. He and my mother in her final days wormed her way into the house thinking they would in fact gain ownership of it if she died. Every time I asked what she died of, they just said she was in the hospital and decided to just give up. Well, she's dead, and they're facing a ticking clock because the house is being inherited in a 6-way split. This doesn't bother me because I was told years ago I was getting nothing from her estate. I was told the house would go into a trust and both my brothers and mother would be living there. My brother, who has spent his life bouncing from one multimillionaire relative couch and wallet to another, thinks I should buy a house for him and my deranged mother a place to live. The man who was given a house to live in when he finally decided to leave home at 25 thinks the man who was thrown out the week after graduation and lived in low-income housing at 17, too sick to take care of himself, should buy him a house. This isn't the first time he said stuff like this, and it's surely not going to be the last. But it just infuriates me how twisted these people's logic is. I know this isn't the last time because I asked him several years ago what he would do when Grandma is dead. His rich uncle who has cancer in remission loses his cancer battle, and our mother is incapable of taking care of herself is all he has. His reply, I crap you not, was, well, I will come live with you because you have to take care of me. We're family. When it's me, family means no help and self-sufficiency. When it's them, it means mandatory help and mandatory handouts. Am I wrong to be angry about them and their behaviors? I swear having to deal with all the people who they told lies and half-truths coming up to me and shaming me before I correct them, making me want to give up and just stop going out. It's not like you've been through a whirlwind of chaos, betrayal, and slander, right? Clearly, you should just suck it up and keep enabling their entitled behavior. Because, that's what family's for, right? It's not like they've ever shown you an ounce of respect or gratitude. And let's not forget about your perfect credit score you lost for doing the right thing. Who needs stability and financial security when you can just be a punching bag for ungrateful relatives? Yeah, definitely unreasonable to be angry. You should probably just roll over and accept their demands with open arms. That'll surely solve all your problems. Not. You're absolutely not in the wrong here, OP. The only person you should be concerned about right now is you. Nobody else will advocate for yourself but you. Keep your eyes on the prize being your best life. Update. Encounter with entitled brother turns ugly. So this week, while attending the medical stuff, I chanced upon a business deal. I spent $3.17, and after a few hours of peeling stickers, I turned $3.17 into $150. I earmarked most of this money for bills I'm behind in because I haven't worked since the second week of December. This area is dead from the second week of December to March, no jobs anywhere. I did in fact earmark about $50 from ad money to buy me some frivolous things like frames and shadow boxes for my comic book and art collection, mostly cheap stuff with a few high-priced goodies after the last few tough years. As I'm leaving the Michaels buy one get one free sale, I walked down the mall's sidewalk to the AT&T store because I needed them to check if my phone was broke. Side note, the charging port is broken and I need to replace my 4 or 5-year-old phone. And who did I run into but my entitled brother with his latest girlfriend? My brother, despite his obvious lack of traits making him worth of dating, seems to find a couple of girlfriends every year. Mostly, the girls break up with him when they realize everything that comes out of his mouth is a lie, or that his being rich really means that he is a pampered, spoiled 12-year-old who has no money and mooches off our wealthy family. So I start to leave when he notices me, walks up and greets me with my family's affectionate little name. For me, "Hey, fat boy." He then begins both insulting me and asking me for money. I mean, right there in front of his girlfriend. And the entire store, he both calls me a con artist and then has the audacity to demand I give him money. The reason he was there? His brand new several $1,000 phone wasn't to his liking, and he was returning it for an even more expensive one. But balls on this jack store. Yet, when I refused to give him money, he ranted about me having 2 shadow boxes that cost $14 and a frame that cost $5 on clearance. A little history on why this is infuriating. My whole life, my brother has been given everything, while I've not only been left to get it myself, and they steal it from me to give it to him. When I left home at 17 because he threw a tantrum, I had basically nothing but old junk to use and had to scrounge, beg, borrow, and such to fill my Section 8 subsidized apartment. When he left home at 24, they gave him a house and paid all his bills, so any money he had was spent on booze and drugs for his 24/7 parties. This is the level of difference we get in treatment from family and, quite frankly, the world. Thankfully, the employee working the door told him to leave or he would be banned from the store. I finished my business at AT&T and had a nice day, but it's annoying that he's got 2 or 3 members of our family just bankrolling him and he still thinks I have it better than him, that I should feel sorry for him and give him everything I have that he wants. Oh, and he did mention that they are facing homelessness if they can't find a way to buy out my step-aunt and both step-uncles out of my grandmother's house. I have no way to figure out how that happened, but I don't care either. Well, isn't your brother just the epitome of grace and charm? Nothing like a little family reunion at the AT&T store to brighten your day. I mean, who needs a pleasant shopping experience when you can have a delightful encounter with your entitled sibling and his revolving door of girlfriends, right? And isn't it heartwarming how he manages to turn every conversation into a masterclass on mooching and manipulation? Not only that, but isn't it just hilarious how the universe has the sixth sense of humor? Like, hey, let's see how much more we can stack the deck against those who already have nothing. What do you make of this? Do you have a sibling who gets everything they want at your expense? Share your experience with us in the comments below. Next up, we venture into the world of antique stores and entitled Karens. Entitled Karen wants to use my wheelchair at the antique store. Cast, me, myself, and I. Nels, old man, though he won't speak. Harriet, Karen. My husband and I rent a display space in the antique consignment store for our collective side hustle. I quilt and crochet. My husband sells custom die-cast cars and diorama supplies. Every few weeks we go in and restock our space. The store is very large and can be a bit of a maze, and the store has designated rest stops throughout the aisles. One is across from our space. The store does not provide mobility aids for customers, so it is a bring your own policy if you need a walker or wheelchair. I'm a wheelchair user as I'm paralyzed from an L2 SCI. My husband and I were at the store restocking the space. My husband had just left to take one of our totes out to our van, leaving me in our space sorting through my tote that the baby sets I make. When I hear someone huffing behind me, I didn't really pay too much attention to it, thinking that someone might have been taking a break at the rest stop. I was just finishing laying out my sets on the table in the space when the person at the rest stop decided to talk to me. Do you know that if this store has wheelchairs for people to use? I look up from my task and see an elderly couple across from our space. The old man is standing next to the bench, looking kind of annoyed, while the woman has flopped on the bench in a I can't take another step kind of way. I honestly was concerned that she might have been having a medical issue as she was rather plump. Are you okay? I ask, about to tell her or her partner to use the phone above the bench to reach the staff desk for help. This store is too effing big, Harriet exclaims. I can't walk anymore. The store has a chair for medevac use. One of the employees could bring it to you if you need help leaving. But we're not done shopping. I don't think they have wheelchairs to borrow. They have had issues with rowdy kids riding mobility scooters, so they do not provide them. But if you use the phone above you, you can ask a staff member. Just dial 1 and it will connect you to the staff desk. There's a sign next to the said phone that states this. Harriet seems to be thinking about her options, so I go about my work. Nels wanders down the aisle, possibly looking for an escape route. What about the wheelchair you're sitting in? This is my personal wheelchair, and it doesn't belong to the store. Can I borrow it? What? Surely she's not asking to take my chair to go shopping. I want to use the wheelchair. You're young enough that you could stand to walk for a bit. I'll bring it back. Ma'am, I cannot stand at all. I've been a paraplegic since I was 12. This wheelchair is not store issued. It's my personal property that costs a lot of money. If you call the staff, maybe they can let you use the medical chair, or maybe they know of someone who has in their space that you can buy. But I will not give you my chair, and I cannot help you. At this point, I have rolled out of our space. I decided to head towards the vendor door and just leave. Rumor has it, Harriet is still sitting on the bench waiting for someone to give her a wheelchair. Let's get a quick opinion from the community. She actually had the nerve to tell someone in a wheelchair to stand up and give it to her? Seriously? I understand that not everyone in a wheelchair can stand up, but my mom uses one most of the time due to issues with her back and walking, but she can stand up. But why would you assume that they could and demand it for yourself because you're old and fat? Well, isn't that just the height of entitlement? Demanding someone's wheelchair because your shopping spree has hit a speed bump. I guess common sense isn't so common. I can just picture her now, perched on the bench like she's waiting for her chariot to arrive. Oh, young wheelchair user, won't you be a dear and lend me your wheels? My tiara is starting to chafe from all this walking. And the award for most delusional shopper goes to, drum roll, Harriet. Wow. I'm sorry you had to experience that, OP. Some people will never get it. Have you ever been in or witnessed a similar situation? Let us know below. But enough about Karens. Let's shift gears to a different kind of snowstorm. My first restraining order. Apparently I'm not allowed to snowblow my own driveway. I'm going to say that today was one of the most insane days I've ever had in my life. It involved me contacting the sheriff and picking up the paperwork for a restraining order, and involving my attorney, all because our snow plow guy decided to threaten me and my family. So here's the story. It's a long one and a crazy one. Late last year, our house was ruined from water intrusion in the roof. It's been a massive insurance claim, and as part of that, the insurance company has been paying for us to rent a house nearby. We moved into this place recently, and it's been great so far. One of the benefits was that, as part of the lease, we would have someone who would come by to snowplow the driveway, which was great, and the weekend we moved in, there was a massive snowstorm. 60+ mile-an-hour winds, and the driveway at our new place was snowed in. The plow guys never showed up, so I basically shrugged it off, got my snowblower, we brought ours to this place, and cleared the driveway. I messaged the owner and asked if she could share the plow guy's phone number so I could message him. She did, and surprise, surprise, it was actually someone we knew. Small town. This guy has a reputation, but we never had any problems with him. So I sent him a message and said that we were living at this place and that I had my trailer parked in the driveway and would need him to plow the snowbanks pushed out so I could turn it around properly. I also offered to help keep the parts he couldn't reach clear with my snowblower, since plowing around a trailer can be a pain. By the way, this is a super massive driveway and parking area. I have 4 trailers parked, and there is still tons of room. They are also parked in places out of the way of his push paths. For what it's worth, if he had said to me, "Sorry, I can't plow your driveway as is," I would have been like, "No problem at all. I will take care of it." I had no expectations of him at all and was fully prepared to do it myself. But he said all was good, and he told me not to bother snowblowing as he would be by with his machines to clear things up. Well, not long after, another snowstorm came by, 1 to 2 feet of snow on our driveway, and my wife can't get out. So I got up, started the snowblower, and cleared the driveway. By the way, this is not a quick process. It takes me about an hour to do the whole thing. His employee with the loader shows up at 10 p.m. that night, sees the driveway, looks clear, and drives on to his next stop, a house close by. I didn't make a fuss about it because I get it. Maybe we are the last on the route, but I can't just sit inside all day and wait. I just thought, well, this guy got a freebie on me, aka he didn't have to do the work. A short bit of time went by and I woke up to go snowmobiling. We had a fresh 18 inches of snow on the driveway. The plow guy hasn't come, and I had to depart at 8:15 to meet a friend at the trailhead. My trailer weighs 7,000 pounds, it's 28 feet long, enclosed and holds 5 sleds. My big truck, with brand new top-of-the-line snow tires, can't pull that thing up a hill in 18 inches of fresh snow. So I got my snowblower out, cleared the paths from the trailer to the main road, and off I went. I got back at 4 p.m. They still weren't there, so I cleared the rest of the driveway so I could turn around and park the trailer. Their guy drove by at 10:30 p.m. at night. Now here's where the crazy starts. The owner texted me today and said, "Do not slow blow your driveway anymore. You are taking money out of my pocket." To which I responded that I have no interest in snow blowing my driveway and would prefer them to do it, but that I need them to come early in the AM because we work and need to get out of the driveway, and I can't get my trailer out without a clear path. I've tried. He called me immediately after that, and all hell broke loose. The phone call went like this. "You better stop what you're doing because we are contracted to plow that house and you are causing me to lose money every time you do it. You need to learn how to just deal with it when it snows." I told him I was dealing with it. If I can't get my car out of the driveway, I clear it. I don't have time to hope they show up. During the call, he called me an effing pie and said I need to learn how to drive my car like a man, that I should go park my trailer in town the day before, and that I was not allowed to plow my own driveway. He then told me how my house was the lowest on his priority list, but he still felt entitled to the money for the plow fees. I didn't know this, but apparently his contract is a base monthly rate and a very large payment for every extra plow when the snow is above 6 inches. Our insurance pays the homeowner directly, so we aren't really aware of this. But anyway, the call got heated with him yelling at me to stop effing him over and how I'm apparently a dumbass and I'm not allowed to clear my own driveway. At this point, I basically said that if it's such a problem, perhaps I'll just call the owners and suggest they cancel the contract. I'm the one paying for it. I do have a budget with insurance, and this is a line item, so why have someone who treats me like crap? From here on out, it got worse. He started making threats about how if I get the contract canceled, he is going to come down here and deal with me, and lots of other things not worth saying corresponding to threats against myself and family. I ended the call, then immediately called the local police department, filed a report, a case was opened, and I was referred to the local sheriff's office. I also called the owners who were appalled by what had happened. They immediately sent him a note stating that he is no longer to come by the property and canceled his service. To add to this, it's not the first time he has done something like it. The sheriff's department is very familiar with him, as are many people in town. So yeah, that's where we are, and feel free to add thoughts and advice. We have security cameras all over the property and we'll be following up with the authorities. So, what a day it's been. Let's get a couple reactions from the community. First up, one advantage of a small town could be that it would be easier to secure the restraining order if the sheriff and local court staff and judges are aware of his spotty track record. It would probably be wise to get something on paper in case he does some crazy crap. The OP replied, "Yeah, we have an open case file for this, but sort of trying to figure out how far to go with it." Someone else chimes in, "Amazing how he said your place is a low priority for him, yet he demands to do it, albeit very late. Straightforward entitlement, if anyone ever was, and he is free with his French and asks for no pardons." The OP replies, "Yep, I think I commented on that in the call. Like, if this is such a problem for you, why don't you just stop coming by and we can cancel the contract?" Well, isn't he a winter's wonderland? If he had just done his job, none of this would have happened in the first place. Who knew clearing snow could be such a high-stakes game? Props to you for not only dealing with the snow, but also navigating the treacherous waters of driveway politics. Who knew that owning a property came with a side of snow-based drama? It's like living in a Hallmark movie, but with less romance and more icy stares. It's exactly what a small town needs, more drama. Do you know someone with a similar reputation? We want to hear it. And thank you for joining us today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click that notification bell before you leave. We'd love to hear your thoughts on today's topic, so feel free to leave a comment. See you next time in the rLounge.